Hello YouTube, I'm Zach, you're watching Zach DTV, the place for interesting news from around the net. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a curious case of some space dust. We also have painting with bacteria. We're going to wrap up with a homeless woman who wasn't really homeless. Alright, let's get right into this. For my first story, I want to talk about a case where this woman is going to make a lot of money. Nancy Lee Carlson, she's from Illinois. She purchased a bag at auction that was from the Apollo 11 launches. It was a bag used by Neil Armstrong to carry back space rocks and, of course, a little bit of space dust from the moon. According to Sotheby's, it is the only such artifact in private hands. It is due to be auctioned off July 20th. They figure this bag is going to go between $2 and $4 million. Pretty amazing stuff. The story behind this is really interesting as well. While NASA's not sure how this got out of their hands, it was on display at the Cosmosphere. That's a private museum in Kentucky. And when the owner was criminally charged with theft and resale of space memorabilia, the U.S. Marshals who arrested him, when they cataloged all this stuff, they mislabeled it, and it accidentally went to auction. And that is where Nancy Lee Carlson was able to buy this bag. Well, after she purchased it for only $995, by the way, and it took 3 auctions for them to sell this. It didn't sell in the first 2. She decided she was going to send it off to NASA and see if this was an authentic article here. She just thought she had something great, a bag that contained rocks and dust from the moon at one time. Well, NASA got their hands on it. They looked at the stowage receipt from Apollo 11, and they found that, yes, this bag is a bag that flew to the moon on Apollo 11. It was called the Contingency Lunar Sample Decontamination Bag. Well, since NASA didn't have any records of releasing this bag, and they didn't know how she got her hands on it, they decided they were going to keep it. They did offer to give her money back, but they said, nope, you can't have it, it's ours. And initially, they even looked into pursuing charges against her. Kind of like if she would have stolen the bag herself. Right. Well, in December of 2016, a federal judge said, no, we can't do this. We cannot keep this bag out of her hands. She purchased it legally. We messed up. It's hers. And nearly immediately, she decided to put it up for auction to see what she could get for it. Now, of course, this isn't the only Apollo memorabilia that's out there. There are other things like patches, flown flags, stuff like that have made it to the moon. But this was something that wasn't supposed to be released. And even though it doesn't contain rocks anymore, it does still have moon dust in it. So this is your chance to own a piece of the moon that came back with the Apollo 11 astronauts. So if you have an extra $2 to $4 million, go ahead on up to New York and see if you can't win this for yourself. For my next story, let's talk about bacteria. A team at M.I.T. have developed a bacteria that responds to red, green, and blue light by putting out colored pigments. This means you can create art with bacteria. This is a completely man-made bacteria. They did this by sequencing different genes together to get the effect they wanted. They created a light-sensing gene, a resource allocator gene that tells it what color to produce, a circuit that ties everything together, and an actuator. The actuator actually puts out the color. This research isn't 100% new. They were able to print 2 different colors back in 2005 using the same technique. They were able to do black and white, which they made some black and white photos out of, stuff like that. It was still very groundbreaking technology at the time, but now they've just made it better. You might be asking yourself, why? Why do I care about this? What does this matter? Well, it matters because this has very practical applications too. We as a species have gotten very good at beaming light onto objects. We can be very precise with the light that we make. Well, right now they have this bacteria, it's printing out pigment. They could change that so it's printing out proteins or other biological matter. Basically, what we have done is turned a bacteria into a small-scale 3D printer. And that can have many far-reaching applications in our future. Next up, let's talk about that viral video that's out there. I don't know if you guys saw it. It has over 2 million views as of this morning. Of the woman who was caught panhandling, but she isn't really homeless. Some people were filming her standing on a median, asking for change, asking for handouts. And when they started questioning her about what she was doing, where she was from, that kind of stuff, she went and got into a decent-looking car, tried to avoid the guys, ended up going into McDonald's to see if she can get away from them. They weren't able to help, that kind of stuff. That video went out on Saturday, and like I said, 2 million hits. It made front page of Reddit, and now that woman is in jail. Micah Leah Dominguez, her name is, who says while she never claimed to be homeless, she is disabled and she needs this help. Whereas the people in the video were accusing her of taking government assistance she didn't need, was arrested yesterday on 3 felony counts of throwing a missile at a moving vehicle. The missile was full things of Gatorade. I guess what she was doing was she was out panhandling again, and people, knowing her from this video, started approaching her, started filming her, started pestering her, and they were giving this woman a hard time about being out panhandling again. I mean, basically, that video ruined her career as a professional panhandler. And this pissed her off. So she started yelling. These people started yelling back at her, heckling her and stuff like that. In the long run, she decided to chuck some bottles at a person that was bothering her. Police were called to the scene, and when they got there, they arrested her, and she's sitting in jail on felony counts. Now, personally, to me, I don't like that this woman was out panhandling under false pretense. At the same time, does she deserve to go to jail for it? This isn't a victory for anybody. And really, people should just leave her alone. Yeah, what she's doing is kind of shitty. If you saw the video, don't give her money, but don't pester her. You know, let her go off and be an asshole on her own. It's not something you really have to be involved with. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Hey, if you like what I do, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Maybe share me with your friends. I do this 5 days a week. That's Monday through Friday. Today's Tuesday, so I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Be safe.